Good morning. Welcome to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us this morning. And it's November 21, 2022. It's a Monday, and it's a bit overcast out here in Barrio Capitolio, Pasig. And I thank you for being subscribers of Cignal TV, viewers of One News, and of course, for following us on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Let's start the day with a daily starter from Pastor Peter Tanchi, and it's an interesting daily starter because Peter Tanchi gives us a quotation that is actually based on the Bible. It's a modern translation. Everything you do is sacred when you do it for the Lord. And he pointed out, and if I may quote Peter Tanchi, as followers of Christ, we are called to work heartily for Him wherever we are. All work is sacred. That means whether at work or ministry, part-time or full-time, our greatest aim is to do what we can excellently for the honor and glory of the God we serve. Yun po, magandang paalaala yan, ladies and gentlemen, because some of you might be on your way to work and you're grumbling, you're unhappy, you feel dejected, uninspired. And, that's why we call it work, not a vacation. But be happy you have a job. Many people are unemployed. Be grateful you have talents and you have an opportunity to be productive. And more than anything, do not try to separate work from religion or spirituality, because both go hand in hand. It is the only thing that is really yours and from the Lord. Okay, let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star for a quick review of what's been happening over the weekend and what you should be looking forward to. The headline of the Philippine Star today, Monday, November 21, 2022, Harris to stress U.S. commitment to the Philippines. Vice President Kamala Harris is in town. She arrived yesterday. The U.S. Vice President flew in straight from Thailand to Manila after the APEC summit and will be meeting with President Bongbong Marcos, where they will discuss U.S.-Philippine relationships, and Vice President Harris will stress the U.S. commitment to the Philippines, particularly on mutual defense and, of course, territories and others. She will also be going to Puerto Princesa, Palawan. Okay, that center photo, you will see Vice President Harris trooping or going through the receiving troops. And we will now go to the top of the front page at the header. Ito po, sakit ng ulo ninyo. Sugar still at 100 pesos per kilo. Despite imports and harvest season. And that means only one thing: traders and sellers are taking advantage. If it's true that the imports have arrived and the harvest season has supplied the much needed sugar, then the DTI and, of course, the government of Mr. Marcos will have to do something about it. Okay. Meanwhile, big photo at the top of the front page is a wonderful exhibition in Tarlac, Saturday night for the Belenismo Festival in Tarlac. Yan po, that's actually all over Tarlac. Many towns and barangays in Tarlac have been participating in the annual Belenismo Festival, and I myself have been a judge in several of those events. that was initiated by Doktora, our friend Lisa Suntay. Congratulations once again. Ang ganda po ng mga Belen. They're not small Belens, mind you. They are huge, and you could actually do a night tour of the province of Tarlac just to see all those beautiful Belens. And by the way, that is partly going to be our discussion this morning, tourism. And okay, the Philippine National Police, on the other hand, is warning, mag-ingat po kayo, be aware, be alert. Many people will be shopping, spending money. Be careful for fake money, okay? Fake money is expected to be in circulation once again, prompting the Philippine National Police to remind shoppers to be vigilant as the nation approaches the holiday season. Baka dyan po lumabas lahat ng mga peking 1,000 pesong pinamigay ng kampanya. Ayan, ganti-gantihan na lang daw yan. Okay. Sana po maprotect kayo ni Lord. Okay, ingatan. Kung hindi yung bagong 1,000, wag nang tanggapin. Okay, only China doing the bullying in the South China Seas, according to retired Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio. Okay. Meanwhile, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, points out that there are 6.3 million Philippine households still lack sanitary toilets. Yan po, no? The UNICEF, because of their campaigns for child safety and health, has been doing studies all over the world and all over the Philippines, and has come up with data based on the 2021 Field Health Services Information System Report. They determined 6.3 million households still use unsanitary toilets or practice open defecation. Yun po ay sana matigil na. Okay, let's now move on. And further down, visually impaired teen wants PWDs heard on road safety. This is an important news item. 16-year-old Hannah Estepa hopes for a day that persons with disabilities, PWDs like her, can walk home safe with decent sidewalks and more disciplined drivers on the road. And that article is, you can read that all about that in the Philippine Star, but I just want to point out that the road safety for people with disabilities is a major issue. As a friend pointed out, when she broke her ankle, she discovered immediately how disadvantaged PWDs were. Yung pagtawid lang, just waiting for the pedestrian light to go on, you can't cross the big roads in time because you don't walk as fast or run like normal people without disability. Okay, now going to the photos of the Philippine Star front page today. We have a golf tournament being featured on the left side of the front page. SunTrust anniversary kickoff. SunTrust Properties President Harrison Paltongan kicks off the company's 25th anniversary celebration at the Sherwood Hills Golf Club in Cavite. Meanwhile, on the right side, bottom side of the Philippine Star, we have a photo featuring the One Ayala, a transit-oriented development at the corner of Ayala Avenue and EDSA that will now serve as the Ayala stop of the EDSA busway, a dedicated median lane for buses initiated by the DOTR and MMDA, etc. Featuring photo is Secretary Jimmy Bautista alongside other officials and partners of the project. Ayan po. Okay. That is a wrap-up of the front page of the Philippine Star today. I do hope that you will make an effort to buy the Philippine Star, buy yourself a copy. There's so much more in the inside pages. And of course, we have also a lot of information there. Kasama na po yung column ko, my opinion column in the Philippine Star. Okay. Let's now go to our interview, and I have not spoken to this eminent person, this wonderful lady, this dedicated. Kumbaga siya yung Statue of Liberty para sa tourism. Kumbaga talagang for the longest time she has done everything she can for Philippine tourism. Gabriel, roll out the Betamax.
Mina Gabor served as the Secretary of the Tourism Department from 1995 to 1998. She is a recipient of the Philippine Legion of Honor Award for her contributions to the development of tourism in the country. After her stint in government, she continued to work on her passion of promoting the Philippines as the founder and president of the International School of Sustainable Tourism.
Okay, Ma'am Mina Gabor, Doctora, welcome to the program agenda.
Cito, it is so nice to listen to you, you know that. It's so refreshing on this Monday morning. Iba talaga, pagsisito talaga. Oh. Thank you.
Tama na, baka maniwala ako.
Ikaw kasi, ang galing-galing mo talaga when it comes to that, And Cito, salamat. Matagal na tayo din nagkita, but appreciate your taking time to listen to what we have to say today.
Well, definitely, because tourism has always been a big part of my life. And the fact that we've all worked so hard, even ordinary Filipinos, for many years, we've been pushing for tourism to be a major platform of government. And it took several decades and a lot of effort on your part to push tourism or get tourism recognized by the politicians as a viable industry in the Philippines. And congratulations, we're there. The question now is, what's in our future? Balita ko, meron ka na namang project. You are the lady who is always ahead of her time.
Hindi naman. But Cito, we were so fortunate that in 2019, we won the bid to host the first International Ecotourism Travel Mart. It's the first green travel mart in the world. Ibig sabihin yan, hindi tayo nakapasok sa isang building. That means this is outdoor. And amidst the greeneries of all things in the municipality of Silang. Kaya tuwan-tuwa kami because this is an international event in a small municipality, and I think it's something that we should really be proud of because kailangan natin pakita na kaya ng ating mga maliliit na towns and municipalities to actually take care of tourism.
Okay, now could you kindly explain that first International Ecotourism or Green Travel Mart? Sabi mo, Mart, may bentahan dyan. May mabibili dyan. Magpapasko na.
Yes. Actually, there are three major components. First, there is the travel mart component where you have the buyers and sellers of travel packages. Nandito na yung mga travel agencies, mga tour operators, entertainment companies, and other setups where they want to sell their proposals, mga tour proposals nila. And this will be a mutual thing, because we have right now, as of 2 days ago, 20 companies overseas have already confirmed. So 20 countries are coming in, So medyo nandiyan na yung mga buyers na magkakaroon ng interaction between our own travel agencies, And then the second component is what I think is the heart of this entire event, which is the Ecotourism Forum. This is going to be a 2-day ecotourism forum. And for the first time, inupuan namin lahat yan, no? Because the presenter of this event, where we actually took the bidding, is actually the Asian Ecotourism Network. Now, which is part of the global ecotourism network based in Costa Rica. And the Philippines is a very active member of the network. And so this forum actually was the result of all the things that we were doing. Kasi for the first time, we're having them in a package that will actually bring you from the beginning of ecotourism, that then now in the future up to the end of ecotourism. Like, for example, all the different aspects like the social, the environmental, the business impact, the economic impact, the education, and its biodiversity. So, pagkatapos nito, we plan to have this entire forum to become our first course proposal for ecotourism. Kasi buong-buo na ito ngayon. Kasi
what do you mean first course proposal?
Yeah, because Cito, in the past, we had the seminars, workshops, but it's only taking part of one aspect of ecotourism. Hindi yung total view of ecotourism from beginning to end. No, kumbaga, we would have a workshop on climate action. Tapos na, or we will have a course on maybe on skills development. Tapos na, So for the first time, what we did, and this is together with the experts of ASEAN and Asia, we sat down and said, what is it really? What are the total aspects of ecotourism that we should teach people so that they have a complete knowledge of ecotourism?
But allow me to interject here, Dr. Mina, because mga kaibigan, because you might be wondering, ladies and gentlemen, what's the relevance of all of this? This sounds so technical. Let me bring it down to reality for everyone in the room and on air. I used to operate a bed and breakfast in northern Palawan, in Busuanga, near Coron. And being a very small place, we did not have a 1-kilometer white beach. We didn't have a nearby town where there was a lot of action or happening or a lot of tourist spots. So we had to become creative. And believe it or not, I would bring our guests from ADB, from embassies, etc. I would bring them to the barangay. And I would show them how people live. I would explain where the materials came from for the houses they built, how they would carve out the canoes or make diving goggles with a bolo, or show them a rice paddy with the actual carabao in it. And people were saying, Cito, this is the kind of tourism you need to promote. And I guess... Dr. Mina, I'm just, sorry. Again, nagbigay lang ako example because I am very passionate about that. Kasi we were in Davao just this weekend. I was with several journalists, and people, the tour guide, as lovely and as nice as our tour guide was, she was talking about malls and buildings. And yung kaming mga cynical na mga columnists, pare, kailan ba naging tourist destination yung mga damuhong mga mall na yan? And the following day, we went to Malago Chocolate Factory and Resort, and we went to the Eagle Center, and the entire party was just amazed. And everyone was saying, this is what tourism should be. So all yours, Doctora.
Yeah. And maybe it is right time to define what is ecotourism at that point. Kasi alam mo naman, there was a time, lahat ng tao puro eco, naging buzzword. And anybody will buy anything, eco bag. Maski na plastic, hindi na tinatanong, bakit ba naging eco bag ito, eco pencil, eco cup. you know. And the mere fact that people are calling it eco was very saleable, you know. Parang akala nila they were helping the environment, no? But let me define ecotourism. Ecotourism is actually going to natural areas, not man-made, natural areas. Hindi pwede yung alimbawa, nandun ka sa Baguio, nandun ka sa lake sa Baguio, hindi natural yon. It's a man-made lake, no? Mm-hmm. So you have to go to natural areas like what you did. You went to Malagos, you know, and enjoy the nature around Malagos, no? Mm-hmm. This is it. And foremost of all is that conservation is prerequisite. That means that people go to an area because they want to conserve the area. We have to interject that because people sometimes lose the various steps to an ecotourism. And the third one is that we must be able to bring this experience to benefit the local people. So that means na dapat meron tayong gagastusin doon sa area at maiiwan natin yung pera doon sa local area so that the people will benefit from our trips in those areas and our experiences.
Yeah, we've been fighting for that for the longest time because back in the 80s and 90s, the tourism picked up in Palawan, but all of the major resorts and businesses, their taxes, their revenue declarations were made in Quezon City or in Makati.
Correct.
And the mayors and the barangay captain were telling me, Cito, yan ang problema eh. Lahat ng turista, mahal na mahal yung lugar namin. Pero kami, ang kinikita namin, yun lang tip ng turista. Pero yung taxes na pupunta dun sa mga richest cities in Metro Manila.
Yeah. So this is it, no? So hindi lang yung taxes, but the local goods, no? The food. And these are the things that we have to teach people, no? Na mas masarap yung... Kasi pumunta ka sa isang lugar dito, ang unang papakita sa'yo, meron ho kami ditong steak, you know? and you know, people don't look for that. They want to see the local cuisine, taste it, you know? And then, of course, itong ecotourism is actually about nature interpretation. It's really about the storytelling about the local. That's just like what you said. We teach people how they carve. We teach people. This is the local interpretation. And then, of course, nandyan na yung learning, nandyan na yung physical fitness kasi hindi ka naman pwedeng sumakay sa mga kotse. Dapat maglalakad ka dyan. You know, so there's physical fitness and then there's, of course, adventure. You know, you can take the bike, you know, and not the motor. Kasi mga tao, they think that by taking the motor where they take where you spill out the emission is okay. It's not. It's not good for nature. So you're taking the bike, you know, should be the first one. So that more or less sets the tone for ecotourism.
Okay, but what support are you getting from governments all over the world or here in the Philippines? Kasi we've already we have an achievement. Your group in terms of government officials at that time have put tourism as a major platform. But now, yung bang ecotourism, kasi alam mo, ang nakikita ko, Doc Mina, puro na lang Korean eh. I'm not anti-Korean ha. I love Korean food. I have Korean friends. Pero sabi ko, bakit puro hotel na Korean, puro restaurant na Korean? Sabi ko, Pilipinas to.
Ay, naku, Cito. You have to come when it opens there kasi kailangan makita ninyo. We're actually showcasing an eco-lodge, which is the heart of ecotourism. How an eco-lodge can be set up in an environmental way.
What is an eco-lodge, professor? Kasi alam ko may eskwela ka. You put up the first, ecotourism university.
International School of Sustainable Tourism.
Yeah.
And one of them is ecotourism, no?
Okay, what is an eco-lodge? Kasi pasensya ka na,
hindi, tama yun. Kasi yung eco-lodge is actually the area where you actually accept accommodation for people. And it's very important that when we do our accommodations in areas of natural areas, hindi yung pagdating doon, sige da, puputulin mo na ang mga kahoy, maglalagay ka ng simento, alam mo naman ang usual nating pag-iisip, linisin agad dyan, i-clear lahat yan without caring for the biodiversity. Alisin lahat ng mga gamit, maglagay na tayo agad ng mga construction, 3 stories, and Eco Lodge is actually a nature accommodation. Ang kabutihan sa Eco Lodge, ang pagpasok mo sa loob, first class, no? Nandun lang ang magandang amenities, no? Maganda yung hihigaan, maganda lahat yung ayusin mo. But of course, number one, the Eco Lodge is made of natural materials. Second, ang water mo is rain catchers. That means you bring in the water and you care for it, and that's what you use, no? So lahat ng mga gagamitin mo is actually all about nature, and there's so many examples of this, no? One of our members, who's the owner of Sukao Rainforest Lodge, no, which is an accredited National Geographic, is a very good example, and I wish everybody could see it so they can copy.
Saan yun?
Sa Borneo.
Okay.
Sa Borneo. So it's one of the members of the Asian Ecotourism Network, no? And they're coming over to showcase. They're really showing how these are done. But in the festival itself, in March, we're putting up an Eco Lodge. And for some time, we have been doing an Eco Lodge course for many of our architects. The top architects of the Philippines have joined us kasi gusto nilang malaman ano itong bagong moda na to, no? Ano itong mga Eco Lodge na ginagawa ngayon.
When you think about it, Dr. Gabor, it should be cheaper.
Yes.
Because I built this ano na ba ito? Discovery Paradise. Club Paradise, which became Discovery Paradise. And I had the longest argument with people regarding the construction because everybody was saying, kailangan cuatro aguas, 4-sided roof, kailangan ganito yung foundation, etc. etc. Sabi ko, teka pare, yung mga dinidesign ninyo yan, pang Manila yan eh. Tumingin nga kayo sa barangay. Here in the barangays, they only have two-sided roofs. And they have wood stuck into the ground, deep into the ground. Yeah. Why do I have to bring in concrete mixers and foundations, etc.?
Exactly.
And sabi ko, construction-wise, you're increasing the construction cost, but you're not improving the aesthetics or the quality of construction.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Ang gaganda ngayon, actually, now if you look around from where we were before, marami na ngayon napupuntahan na magaganda na. They interpret bamboo, which is going to be the 21st century timber. And then we have all yung mga pwede ng harvest, no, ng mga kahoy na nagagamit na ngayon. And it's so inexpensive. Even the roofing, nandiyan na yung mga nipa at saka yung mga lahat nagagamit mo na. And they withstood time, pumunta ka sa ibang lugar, in Taiwan, in Thailand, in Burma, they have century-old nipas, no, that's still there. Kasi patong-patong yan, no?
Natatawa ko. You have to excuse me, natatawa ko. I'm enjoying this conversation because it reminds me of my tourism days where I introduced long tables, long benches. Sabi ko, sa kaming mga Tagalog, kung kumain kami ng hapunan, when we eat dinner or lunch, we sit side by side on long benches, long, strong benches on long tables. We don't use plastic chairs. We don't use single chairs. Na parang wala kang sense of community. You go to a resort to experience.
Exacto. At saka, those are the interpretations. Yan sinasabi ko ngayon. What you're saying is the interpretation of our own local culture. Kasi pagdating sa ecotourism, hindi pwedeng sabihin sa ecotourism, ikaw lahat bahay kubo kayo from Thailand to Vietnam to lahat tayo bahay kubo. Hindi. You actually bring the culture of the people into ecotourism. So doon nagkakaiba-iba, And even in architecture, magugulat ka, yung paano nila ginagawa yon. You can learn from their techniques, no? But you use the local materials and our local culture. Like yung ating mga, ano, di ba tayo pagkain sa mga probinsya? Ano lang tayo yung low tables na sama-sama, nakaupo ka. And those are the things that we bring back, no, with ecotourism. These are the local culture.
Matipid kasi yung long table nagkakabistuan sino yung swapang o timawa sa buffet. Pag umupo ka sa buffet, kitang-kita yung plato mo. Walang yakay kung umubos ng alimango, hudas ka.
So we're so excited about it kasi ito lang sa ecotourism, no? I just wanted to, pwede ba natin ipakita sandali? Yung sa ecotourism. Can we share? Can we share?
Sure.
Okay, because I think you will be enjoying, maski yung topics lang, fast track, no? Sige.
Or you can just read through it later. But I need to ask, Doctora.
Yeah.
Okay, how do people participate? Kasi alam mo, pag nadinig ng tao, there's a forum, there's a seminar, etc. Parang, ay nako, yan na naman, mahal na naman yan, tapos sila na naman yan.
Yeah. So actually, I mentioned about the 3 top areas that you will see, no? So you have the travel mart, and of course, kasama doon ng mga airlines. They will be given discounts. Alam mo na, yun yung mga hakot din dyan. Yung mga tour packages na may discounts, no, for if you want to go to places. And most of the people we're inviting are those that will have ecotourism packages. Okay. So, they will be introduced to those areas. The second one is the forum, which I said is a 2-day event, no? And I tell you, it brings you from the beginning of ecotourism to the end, no, and the future of ecotourism, which I can mention later. The third is the marketplace. Yung marketplace is where you bring in the green products, the sustainable products, no. And for example, in the case of Department of Trade and Industry, we met Secretary Pascual, and immediately he says, naku, kailangan dali natin dyan, kasama namin si Yusek Bless, who's in charge of that. Dali natin agad dyan yung ating one town, one product na mga magaganda na, the best of the best from the province. So there are 9 categories of one town, one product that will be displayed there. From hand weaving to food, to furnishings, to housewares, meron pa sila sa gitna na cafeteria, showcasing the local coffee, and actually you can taste them there and buy coffee, And then, of course, we have the indigenous people. In ecotourism, the indigenous people are actually given a very strong role to play, no? Kasi diyan natin nakikita na lahat ng mga pinanggalingan natin, ang roots natin comes from our own indigenous people. And so we have a group from the National Commission that will be coming in, no? So nandiyan na sila, naggawa na sila ng isang lugar. Pagkatapos, we'll also bring in 6 of the indigenous tribal groups that are very good in their sustainability development. Ibig sabihin, itong mga grupo na to have become successful, Cito, not because of that they have been going down to Donlan, but they were able to keep their culture together and be able to feed the people in their tribe group, no? So
could you narrate to us or tell us about those tribes? Because you know, pag ikaw pumunta sa Lipa, makikita mo yung mga yung badyaw na hindi dumadive, sumasampa ng mga sasakyan para manghingi ng barya. Pag if you go to other places, indigenous tribes have created a bad name for themselves because of mendicancy. But it's good to hear that there are. Could you tell us about some of these?
I'm sad to hear that, no, because for a long time medyo hindi natin napansin yung mga tribal groups natin, eh. And now we have, I must tell you, we have dedicated people, talagang mga dedicated people that are working for government, that are taking care of that. And I would mention one, no, si Grace Pasco, for example. They go to the hinterlands and really work with the tribes. So what we do in this area, I mentioned 6 of the tribes worldwide are coming in. We have Taiwan, we have Indonesia, we have Papua New Guinea, we have the Maori who are in town. And then we're now looking, of course, the Philippines is there. and one more, and I think it's going to be Thailand, that is coming in. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, itong mga groups na to have been shown to have taken care of their people, yung kanilang tribal areas, which means that without shedding off their culture, people go to their places and still enjoy what they have to offer. And that they have, for example, they have done food and people eat there now. They serve their local food the way they are doing it. In fact, naalala ko si Chef Sal del Rosario when he went to the Eta village, he practically shed tears kasi nagulat siya na gumagawa na pala itong mga ng mga pagkain na pwedeng-pwede nating kopyahin, no? Even the way they grill, even the way they work. Nakita niya na meron palang maituturo itong mga local culture sa mga chefs, no? Na pwede nating gayahin. So halos talaga paiyak siya doon. Sabi niya, naku Mina, there's so much that we can learn from our tribal group and nakakalimutan natin. So anyway, these people have put people to school. They have done their own school houses, and they carry on the same courses that we learn, no? But keeping them in a way that they will be able to preserve their culture.
Okay.
Importante.
Let's go for a quick break, Doc Mina, and when we come back, let's go through the current concerns and, of course, what else you want to share about the event, but also through, on current concerns regarding tourism, because mukhang yun, the big hurrah is coming up in December, but whether there's going to be a distribution of customers and wealth remains a question, especially with people struggling now. How can tourism be energized by the Marcos administration to create more jobs? We'll be right back here on Agenda. Please stick around. Welcome back to the program Agenda. I'm Cito Beltran, and joining us today is a pioneer. I won't call her veteran kasi active pa rin eh. Yung mga veteran, yung mga nag-retire na eh. Pero our guest today is continues to be active in promoting tourism, not just the tourist part of it, but the education and development part of it. We have with us Dr. Mina Gabor. Doc Mina, welcome back. Okay, Doc Mina, I hope you don't mind, no?
Yeah.
I'll be very candid. For the longest time, people, would look at you and your ideas, some seemingly out of this world, and people would like scratch their head and it's like, is she serious? That's impossible, etc. you've always pushed for concepts, programs that seem to be ahead of its time. And I wonder, how much of a price have you had to pay? Pushing for, standards, visions that most people in the industry or in government were like, what?
Yeah. I guess the nice part is that it's still ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
So one that you will probably be wondering is, oh my goodness, it's still ongoing. We started it so many years ago and people are enjoying it. One such thing is the Philippine Travel Mart that we started. And it's still going very strong, no? Where at that time when I came in, I said, oh my God, how can people know that we have all these tour packages and all these wonderful places when nobody is sharing it, no? So just like what we did when I was in DTI, and we
Yeah,
had
you are, ikaw nga raw yung mother of SITEM, international trade exhibits. And my wife is one of your apostolates. She always goes to the SITEM events, and although recently sabi niya lumiliit na, the Philippines should, exactly, because it is what put Philippine products on the world market. International buyers would come to the Philippines because my wife was representing a company, an international brand, and she would regularly attend and she would tell me about the beautiful products that Philippine companies made. And then she would say, sweetie, it's getting smaller and smaller, and I'm worried for your country if it becomes like that.
Yeah. Well, I guess because of the pandemic, and, they had to work on many things, but I think it's going back. But like, for example, in the case of tourism, we have the Philippine Travel Mart.
Yeah.
And so when the provinces actually showcase, all of their products, no? And the recent one they had was very successful. So I think medyo yon. And then we had the hot air balloon. And it's still going and very strong. And I think we have two instead of just one. So
which is good because it is a family bonding time.
Correct.
Actually, they should make it maybe 1 month long na weekends, ganon, para more and more people can watch it.
Yeah. And then, of course, we had the Malasag Eco Village where we showed how the local people and local culture should be able to showcase their culture, which is much nearer to the town, and it has been very successful. That's in Cagayan de Oro. And then we had, of course, the Bring Home a Friend, that that was very successful as well. No, I mean that brought in.
Come to think about it, or while speaking of that, President Bongbong Marcos is reviving the ano ba tawag nila doon, yung parang extended holiday weekend, ecotourism weekends or something. My mind is in the fog.
Economic tourism, I think what they're saying.
Yeah. Now, what's your reaction to this? Should it all be, integrated? Kasi parang, may bumulong, may nagsuggest, may nabasa. And sabi ko, ano ba? Lahat naman yan has been in existence for so long. They should just put it as a platform beginning January 2023 to Kingdom Come.
I think they're doing it. I think because the new secretary comes from local government, she brings in a new kind of leadership. Iba rin yung, coming from the local government, you look at the things that you get, no? So I think she should be able to showcase tourism in a different way that would actually benefit the local communities. And I think that's okay kasi ang gusto natin talaga is that tourism should come from the local community.
What, from your experience, what would be one or two things that the new secretary should really promote, aside from, her public recognition, because she's rarely seen or heard or read about. I can't even remember her name.
I see. I don't want to say something that might, parang, I'm asking her to do something.
No. I mean, but you know what many local governments during your time or through the years have said.
Yeah. I think one of the things that has been a good thing is the Mandanas Law.
Yeah.
If we can really implement the Mandanas Law and give more teeth to the local government, will be good to actually get tourism out there in the bundoks, no? I think if we have a good system about the Mandanas Law, na talagang magkakaroon sila ng funding na additional, and that the kind of activities they will be doing is not overlapping, but they will be doing it right. I think that will bring tourism to the lowliest people in the community. Kasi ang tingin ko, tourism should get to the barangay level, no? Kasi in fact, even in the course that we have on farm tourism, Cito, we have what we call from farm, ginawa namin urban farm. We brought the farm into the city. No, we said the barangay should be able to be part of a farm work. No, so dinala namin yung farm tourism in such a way that the local government barangays can actually have farms. No, and una namin ginawa yan sa Parañaque, and we have successful people that join. Alam mo yung release ng tren, di ba? Inalis lahat ang squatter. So one of the barangays that's located in that area converted the release ng tren land into a farm by the release. And
just to add to what you're already pushing or saying, there are many resorts, and I've talked to, some have asked me for suggestion. Sabi ko, before you even start your resort or your hotel, build your farm. Because believe me, one day you will need a lot of food, and the worst thing you can do is to buy them from Manila, because what you buy in Manila is bought from outside Manila. So magtayo na kayo ng farm ninyo. But pursuing what you're saying, dapat siguro all these local government units should establish farms that supply those resorts and hotels in their vicinity.
Definitely. In fact, the new mode worldwide now, Cito, is that many of the certifications, the global certifications are coming for one criteria, and that the food should actually emanate from a certain radius of the hotel or restaurant. That means that they put a figure of a high point if your food comes within a certain radius of the hotel or restaurant.
Because it lowers your carbon footprint, it lowers your cost of food.
And it's fresh.
It's fresh and chemical-free most of the time.
Yeah, organic. Yes, of course.
Okay, now we're forgetting something here, Dr. Gabor. You talk about all of the projects, programs that you initiated with your associates in government. Pero how is your school doing?
Yeah, we're okay. We're 13 years 13 years ago was built, no? And now we're preparing for our accreditation for CHED, because we wanted to do one undergraduates, because I wanted to go now from the undergraduates to masteral and doctoral. And so we need one undergraduate, and we're working on that. The second is that we have actually gotten the what they call this, people from overseas are looking at our courses. In fact, many of like for example, from Malaysia, from Indonesia, Cambodia, Laos, and all that have been coming for our farm tourism programs, no? Because they're very happy to hear that in 2015, Cito, we forwarded our request to Senator Villar to actually do the Farm Tourism Development Act. And this was signed by Noy Noy, I think in 2016, less than a year.
Yeah.
And because of that, farm tourism has really gone over the whole country. And dami-dami na ngayon nagpa-farm tourism. So from the initial probably less than 60, 70 farm tourism, ngayon it's actually in the hundreds na, no?
Mhm.
And they're doing very well. In fact, in the last meeting we had, sabi nila they're earning more from farm tourism now than from the products that they're selling, yung just planting and harvesting, no? So they
But
earning now.
what is the philosophy behind farm tourism? Because people are confused. Some people say, "Oh no, it's just a place for tourists to visit, so they know where their food comes from."
Yeah.
Some naman would say, "Well, actually, farm tourism is you have a farm and you have quarters or accommodations for tourists to stay in." And
Yeah.
some people say, actually, it's a learning facility that is just called tourism-oriented, but it's farming. Now, as far
Okay.
as you and your school are concerned, what is farm tourism?
Okay. First, you must have the farm, no?
Okay.
That's the initial thing. In fact, during the courses that we had people who did not even have a land. They just wanted to know what farm tourism was. And after learning, they said, now I'm looking for the lands to put up my farm.
Mhm.
So first, you must have a farm. And as much as possible, we actually tell people to choose what kind of products they would have, no? That changes them from one farm to another. It cannot be all vegetable farm. It cannot be all, one type of program. But we try to initiate them to get into what is it the best for that area that will grow in a farm that you have to know. Wala na yung gaya-gaya system, but what is natural in the area. Second, it's called tourism, nagkaroon ng farm tourism, because the moment you have visitors regularly in an area, that becomes an area that has now to be managed by tourism department. Once you have people coming into a farm, it becomes a tourism area. And of course, now there's a responsibility for the DOT to make sure that the people that are going there are actually safe, and that they are safe not only in terms of physical, but also in food, if you're serving food, and also safe in terms of sanitary facilities,
Mhm.
and all of that. No? So that's the reason why you have the merger of farm and tourism. Now, all the things that you mentioned are activities in a farm. All that you mentioned, like, having a homestay, having a restaurant, having petting zoos, having all of that. These are all the various activities that you can have in a farm. Not all of them, but that is a choice that you make. So in some cases, for example, there are some people that would have farms, but they just do one thing, And for example, I know a small farm. Ang kanilang specialty is talaga dun sa farm nila, yung mga hito nila na talagang malinis, and that they are getting it. And after that, you go there and you fish it and lulutuin sa harapan mo and talagang masarap, no? So some can be as simple as that. Some can be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to activities, no?
Yeah.
So yun ang
Okay. So going back to the school, where are you now in terms of programs, enrollments? Because I remember when people started talking about, there's now a course on tourism. And kita mo, pati ikaw natawa. Kasi di ba sasabihin ng mga nanay o ng tatay, huwag ka na lang mag-aral kung magtutourist guide ka lang.
ang dami na ngayon mapupuntahan, when you're in tourism. There's so much that you can do actually, from being a journalist to writing to and with the platforms that we have now, lalo na you have bloggers, you have that are actually
You're so right. I know so many people who are never home, and I said, saan ka na naman pupunta? Kuya, I have to go here. I have to do I have to check this area and write an article. Sabi ko, good luck. I hope you're heavily insured for your plane or your bus ride. Puro kalipad. It is a career.
Yeah.
tourism journalism is already becoming a life career.
Yeah, you said so, Cito. So I guess we are still doing certificate programs. And I think the latest addition that we have is that if you finish our course, you get an associate, in a certain project. No? Like, for example, if you finish our farm tourism with the certain requirements of what you can finish, you can already put an associate in farm tourism. So that is something that you can actually put, at the end of your title. So if you're Cito Beltran, AFT, Associate in Farm Tourism. So you have that.
Akala ko Armed Forces of the Philippines. Kasi alam ko, Colonel ka rin yata sa Reserve Forces. Am I right?
Yes, correct. Lieutenant Colonel. Sabi ko, naku, anong gagawin ko talaga ngayon?
Anyway, before we lose track of the conversation, Doc Mina, let's go back to your event in Silang, Cavite. Okay, what dates and where exactly, and what time and how long, etc.
Okay, we're so happy that we're having this in Silang. It has always been my dream that somehow one of the local governments should be a venue for an international event. Because I wanted to show the local government that they can do it. Kung minsan takot din sila but they can do it. And I'm very happy that Mayor Anarna, who's now in Silang, has been very supportive of our program and are really supporting us. And really, I think it's something that we are very happy about. We're doing, before the event, we're going to do a biking tour of Silang. And just to get them familiarized with that. And then we're also doing a lot of tour packages together with the Region 4 group of DOT and Silang. For example, the heritage areas. The oldest church with the retablo now is in Silang, Cito. It's now there. Sila yung may pinaka-kompletong retablo, yung Nuestra Señora de Candelaria. And it's happening there, and every year they have a procession, and people don't know about it. And that's part of the whole area of having a major event in a place. You bring out all these assets that people don't know, and that people should be going there.
So the date is because we're about
March 29 to April 2nd. And then it's open from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, and registrations are all online.
Online ang registration, oo. And then the public can come in, murang-mura lang. So 100 pesos for the adults and 50 for the students, PWDs and seniors. And then, and of course, every area. Now is the right time because we're opened already now for participation. So everyone who wants to join, from travel agents to airlines and everybody, they should actually look up at our website. Nandoon na lahat ang cost ng mga booth and everything else. And we have areas there that is so exciting. We have the butterfly garden. We have the quiet place where you can do your stone balancing programs. And then you have a display of an eco lodge for people who wants to build eco lodges in their areas. And then we have a lot of, for the whole 5 days, there will be a lot of demos and presentations.
Yeah. Will your team be will your team facilitate bookings for individuals or group who might want to stay longer in the conferences? Kasi I'm not familiar with the hotels or resorts in Silang.
Yeah. We're having a travel agent handle all of those, including mga bookings and all of the tour packages.
Sabagay, from Silang, ang dami in the area ng mga outlets and then also hotels.
Plenty, Cito. Alam mo, parang Cavite, not only Silang, no, but Cavite, parang late bloomer, yung tinatawag natin. Ang dami-daming kakainin doon, ang sasarap na has been there for so long.
Okay. I have to let you go, Doc Mina. Nagme-mention ka na ng pagkain. Ito, nag-overeat ako sa Davao. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Mina Gabor. It was Always a pleasure to have you on the program to talk to you. And thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah. Thank you, Cito. Thank you for having us. Salamat.
Okay. God bless you.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
mabuhay.
Dr. Mina Gabor, ISST President and former Tourism Secretary. And do look up that event that they're talking about in Silang, Cavite. While it's still early, I'm sure magkakaubusan na naman ng booths dyan at pagkakataon. Okay, let's now go to our closing prayer for the week. And it comes from Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 12. About our country, I pray, it is a land the Lord your God cares for. The eyes of the Lord your God are continually on it from the beginning of the year to its end. God bless all of you. Have a great day. I'm Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us once again this week. And God willing, see you tomorrow. Please keep it here on One News.